Welcome back, generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Last video, well, we had a little bit of struggle here with a fast forwarding decoupling of logic timescale. Yeah, so the goal is to make the logic timescale work beyond the render cap as well. There was one thing that came to my mind after I took the break, and that is that we should probably only apply the frame cap this here if we actually do a render frame. Right? So here we have actual frames per second limit, update time, frame rate limit dot wait. Yeah. Update time. So how do we do this? Wait, what does this do? Wait. 8 seconds. Start. Static. Yeah. So I'm thinking that we do if do render frame. Could that be that we do that? Where's this called? Frame pacer update. Here. Yeah. So it will do here the game engine update, compute the frame, and then it will only do frame pacer. Yeah, it will do a wait now after when we do a render frame, then it will do this. Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And then in game engine, we have, why is it doing so much parsing here? What is this? Stop. So regarding this logic here, so if this is larger than that, then we do logic time accumulator. I wonder if this belongs in here, not this. Target render frame time. Okay, I'm still not sure about this here. Let's think about this more. So if the logic time step is slower than the render update, this is what we did originally as well. We have a target frame time for the logic update, which is, let's say, 0.033 for 30 FPS. Yeah, and then it will accumulate here this, the target logic frame time, or whatever we have right now. It's less than that. It's larger, equal, and here it's less. It's a fact. So we need to accumulate update time, this or this. Min. I still have troubles wrapping my head around this exact condition here. There's somehow a logical problem here, but I have not wrapped my head around it. Something is eerie here with these two. I just I didn't understand it yet. So the problem is that the render frame time, like, just because this is higher than this, it makes no, like, the reality can be that the render FPS does not hit the max render FPS. What happens then? Like, the max render FPS is set to 1 million, but you only get 100 frames. Yeah, then clearly this is telling nothing here, right? So that actually doesn't make any sense if we think about it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it makes sense. Or does it? Accumulator. Logic timescale FPS. Let's say it is larger. Let's say we take render FPS. Yeah. So we have render FPS. So logic is larger than this. Otherwise, it's smaller. So we slower than the render update. Good, and logic time accumulator. Logic time set wants to be slower than the random update. So target logic frame time. Yeah. So now we know that this guy is smaller than that. This one is a real, by the way, isn't it? No, it's not. Enough, yes. I would say we do target logic frame time. Then here we do const real render frame time. And then we do oh, but I have some bad feeling about this. Well, it's hard to say how this will go here. So get the raw logic timescale of PS1. What does that mean? Raw. Target logic frame time. Then here we do plus equal that. And here else we do logic accumulator plus equal frame time, target logic frame time. Does that make sense? So this guy is larger than that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Because this will always be true then, essentially. That's stupid. I think here we need to accumulate the render frame time. That time. I think we need update FPS. Okay, I think what we first need is the last update FPS. Get render FPS. real render time. Render time, can do the same here. Wait. We need another counter. Limit. So we have a wait function, frame rate limit. I think what we need is a new class, frame time, say frame tick. Make a copy of this here. Frame tick. There we go. Tick. And then so here we do without this elapsed seconds. Till that. I think what we can do then is a frame rate limit, public frame tick. Then we remove this here and this and this, and that's it. right? Start frame tick is inaccessible. All right, protected. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. And now what we can do is we have here update time. You have frame rate limit. And then we have frame tick, update tick. Yeah. Then here we do a frame rate limit update time, and here we do render time. And then here we do a update time dot tick. Yeah. And do here update tick. Here update time tick. There we go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we have a separate tick for the update and for the render frame. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Render time, update time. Yeah. Okay, cool. Render FPS. So we get the last render FPS. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then we have here get render time, the last render delta time in seconds. Mm-hmm. Then we have here get render FPS, get render time, render time. There we go. Okay, cool. Update time, render time. Okay, so now how do we use these guys? Yeah, render frame true. Render frame, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so let's review this again. Oh man, I still don't know what the correct implementation looks like, but it is possible. Yeah, logically it should be possible. We just need to find the right combination. I think we are very close, but it still looks wrong. Yeah. So the target logic, so we have two concepts now. We have, let's say, update. Let's call this update. So we have update time and render time, right? Render time. So update time and render time. Target. So target logic time. Target logic time. Then here we have render time. Yeah. Then here we do render time accumulator plus equal update time, right? Update time. Yeah. And we say if the target logic time is larger than the render time. Render time. The logic time step wants to be faster than the render update. Yeah. Okay, and then we now if update time, yeah, and then if this is larger equal render time, then we go in there, right? But how does that make sense? It doesn't make sense because, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I think it needs to be const real max render time is 1 over second image. I think it needs to be larger render time, no? Or not? I can't decide if this makes sense or the other. With the render time or the max render time. It's not clear to me. What is correct? The render time is the current render time that is active. So let's say we are at 45 FPS. Now, what do? We have 45 render FPS and 60 logic time scale. What is the expectation now? And the max render FPS is set to 60. So let me take some notes, yeah? So to visualize. Yeah, so let's say max FPS is set to 60 and max logic time scale is set to 90. Yeah. Well, also 60, let's say. But the actual current FPS is 45. Then what do we expect to happen now? Should the It's not clear to me. Should it still aim for? So what would happen originally? Everything would clamp at 45 frames per second, right? So the logic would run as fast as 45. But do we maybe want to say, okay, we still aim for a logic time stay or at 60 FPS, regardless whether the current FPS is lower than that? Well, we could do that. Should we do that? Is it healthy? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And the game speed remains the same then, but you still get... Yeah. So it's larger than render time. Max render time. Let's try it like this. Maybe that makes sense. So if the target logic time is larger than the current render time, then the logic time step wants to be faster than the render update. Yeah. Yeah. And then otherwise we go in here. Render time. Logic time accumulator. It seems like it makes sense. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Now, do we want to reset this guy here or not? I don't know. I would say we just leave it like that. Let's see. Let's see how that plays. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so we have 30 FPS in here. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's load a simple map. Okay, so right now it's completely okay, so this looks normal. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, then let's set it to 60. Yeah, okay, so now we have 60 render FPS, 60 logic timescale, everything as expected. Yeah, like the render and logic are in perfect sync, and it's double the real-time speed. Yeah? So now we set the logic timescale to 30, and now that's unexpected. Okay, so that's already broken. Let's see why that is. Render time 0.33. Huh. Okay, that's not true. Target logic time. And why is render time that? Huh? To render frame. Why is this commented here? Was that already the case? Oh. How did this end up in the code base? Okay, that's unexpected. That's not meant to be here. Okay, so right now I don't understand how this gets there. I think we have Gentoo running, right? Does Gentoo lower the frame rate when we tap out? It does. Let me disable Gentoo. That messes with our timings. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. So let's try this again. So render FPS 60, logic timescale 30. Okay, so those are drives way too fast. Why is that? Let's put the breakpoint here. So render time is here 60 FPS. This one should be smaller equal. Mm-hmm. 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 Max render time. Mm-hmm. I think we can do a max render time still here. Yeah. Well, can we? Let's put this here. Mm-hmm. Really confusing, this logic. So let's try that again. So 60 FPS and 30 logic. Okay, so now that those are drives normally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, it seems so slow. When you test a lot with fast moving units, it feels so slow. Like, I mean, I often test like with double, 3 times, 4 times speed, right? So this feels so slow. Uh, yeah, that's funny. Good, but this seems good. And now let's do 60. Yeah, so that also looks good. Yeah. Okay. Then let's do a higher. 90. Is that faster or not? It's hard to say. Let's put a breakpoint here. So this is now smaller. The logic time step wants to be faster. So we accumulate update time here. Huh. Why is this number so small, so large? What is this? Target logic time. Okay, I'm not sure what this is about here. Why is this guy at 60? Update time is 60 FPS. Why is that the case? Because when we do a render, nah. Okay, I don't understand right now why this is this value. But there must be a reason for this. If this is Man, there's something I'm missing here. Yeah, why is update FPS and render time, why are these two values the same? That I don't understand right now. Because they should not be. I don't know. If we run so we set this true now, so it will go. It will hit this. I suspect the problem here is that it does wait the VSync, so to say. The frame cap. I think that's a problem. Yeah. The frame cap is a problem, right? I think. How do we solve that? How do we solve this dilemma? Maybe we need to lower. I have an idea. In frame pacer, we probably need to scale this number. Is this an integer? It is. Frame rate limits, max FPS. Max FPS. Let's make this a real. Or even a double, maybe. Oh, real is okay. And then I think we need to do a const real max FPS scaled. Say this equals max FPS times time scale. Wait, what do we scale this now? We need to make room for to make room. Question is how. Get actual frames per second limits. Okay, I don't know by how much I should scale, but the problem is the frame rate limit. It will prevent that we can cramp more updates, more logic updates into one render frame. Because once it hits this and it wants to do the limiting, everything bogs down to the render frame again. Right? That's a problem. Ah, man, how do we solve this? We would somehow need to know here in advance that, hey, we want to do more logic frames. But then how much? Like, how do we know what the optimal wait time is? We could... Oops. Render time. Render time. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. But there's probably a solution. Just need to think about it. Yeah. Not so easy. Oof, there's a lot of updates here. Oof. Submodule. Updated 10 files. Okay. Okay. Can we see the... How can we see the raw file? Like, why does it look so weird? Huh? I don't understand. I don't know. How do I read this diff? I don't understand. What is this? I don't understand why this looks so weird here. Why can't I just see the file? Like this is it's a file, right? Or is it not? This one? Oh, it's not a file. I thought it's a file. Submodule. Okay. Okay. Then this is for testing. Test. Okay. Okay. But I remove this comment because this already has comments. So this is all documented. This is already sufficiently documented at the macro, at the value. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's get back to here. So how do we deal with this now? Get actual frames per second limit. Implements the frame rate limiter. Yeah. So it's not trivial because the problem is that the render frame and the logic frame, they will have different length. Yeah. Maybe. Max rendered. Time accumulator update time. Maybe we need to get these counters. Update. Maybe we need even more different counters. A counter for just a logic update. I don't know if that makes sense. No, probably not. Update FPS already makes sense. It's like the whole frame. Minus the render if the render did not happen. Frame pace. How do we know again that we did the render frame other than this guy here? I don't know how to do this. It's a bit of a tricky situation. So let me see again where this frame pacer update is called. After this update. Yeah. Update. Yeah, it's probably fine. So how do we scale this guy? How do we scale him? Higher resolution counters. Max FPS. Yeah, we need to somehow. We don't have a. It's such a dilemma. It really is a dilemma. update tick. Frame rate limit. Do render frame. Okay. So we cannot just limit always to the max FPS. That's not healthy. So if we do no cap, but that's also bad if we do no cap. Yeah. Man. Wait. Render frame. Oh, I don't know how to do it. How should we scale this max FPS value? We need to scale it by something. You can say logic timescale is enabled and logic timescale ratio. Get logic timescale. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think here we need to we need to scale it by get actual frames per second limit, max FPS. Get. Let's take this guy here. So this one returns. Let's make this int. Const int max logic scale FPS. Logic times scale FPS. Then we do so let's say logic timescale is 0.0111, and then the other one is 0.01666. 666. Yeah. So logic timescale divided by max FPS. Yeah. Then this would be a real. And this as well. But then what if save. If this is larger than this, then we do scale max FPS times equal that. Does that make sense? Max FPS. Yeah, then we put this in here. Does that make sense? So if the logic scale FPS is larger than the max FPS, then we scale the max FPS, so the cap, we scale this down effectively. Yeah, yeah. This one is never 0, right? Yeah. This one shouldn't be 0. So max FPS logic. Well, this one can be 0, but that's fine. No, this can't be 0. No, I think this makes sense. Let's test that. Logic is getting more and more intricate here. Mm-hmm. I think we can take this common and put it in here. This class re-implements. Good. Let's see if that has substance or not. Let me put a breakpoint here right away to step through this, see if the values make sense. So max FPS is 30, logic timescale is 1 million. So this one is 30. Oh, well, that doesn't look right. Oh, well. Scale FPS. Let's do if it's enabled, then we do this. So we take this one out, take this, and then we go. So max FPS is 30. 30. This one is disabled, and so it will just cap to 30. Okay, so this is fair. Let's put a breakpoint in here. Then let's enable. Let's enable it. There we go. There we go. So logic scale FPS is 45. It's not larger than that, so we don't scale it. Yeah. Oof. Mm-hmm. Okay, something is wrong with the movement. I can see that already. Mm-hmm. So 60. Logic 30. Okay, so this looks normal. Yeah. Then let's do, so that's 60. Oof. Oof. Good. That is unexpected. Um, okay, that is incredible. Okay, that's very incredible. Update time. Oh, why is this so short? Huh. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't do a render frame. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. What is surprising to me is that here this frame counter shows 100, but our max FPS is 60. Something is funky there. Okay, but the dozer now moves significantly faster, right? Yeah. Let's do this. Okay, that seems to work. Oof, and then suddenly it jumps and becomes... What is going on here? Also, look at the radar. The radar is lagging so much. It's lagging so far behind. I mean, I'm baffled by... I'm baffled by this. But it's kind of amazing how like fast you can play the game. Like without like the render update now is 60, but the logic update is like insanely high now. So in principle it works, but there are glitches. Like it shouldn't be this fast. Why is it this fast? I don't understand that part. Can we see the frame pacer here? What is this doing now? 225. Yeah. So 225 is certainly larger than that. And so we divide that and then 225. This divided by that. Scaled max FPS 225. Huh? Scaled max FPS is 225. Uh-huh. Let's see. Is this correct? Scaled max FPS 225. Why is this correct? This value. I don't know. Maybe 225. Yeah. I don't think it is. Yeah, okay, it has to be the other way around. It has to be max FPS divided by that. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Oh man. So, oof. Uh-huh. Oof. Ah, boy. We're stabilizing a frame rate. Okay, that doesn't look correct. Okay, that doesn't look right. What's the problem here? So this one 120, 60 divided by 120, so that's 30. Let me get the calculator again. So we have, let's say, we have 60 render FPS. Well, 120 divided by 60, so that would be 2. So I think it's correct. So max FPS, so 60 divided by 120, so that's 0.5. But then we half the scale max FPS, we half it. That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. We halve it. But why not? Do we want to halve it? I actually don't know. It shouldn't be halved, no. I think that's nonsense. It's a whole bunch of nonsense. What do we need to do? So the problem is we cannot just wait for max FPS here. That doesn't work. But we cannot also just not work for max FPS because then the frame rate is uncapped and the game accelerates based just on that. Yeah. How do we deal with this? I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around this. But there must be a solution. I just don't see it right now. No. What's the time? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what about this one here? CI build. This has changed. So about CI. Fair enough. Okay, I think we can merge this one here. Merge A, pass one, and update dependencies. Okay. Okay, great. Ah, hold on. This wants to be merged with rebase, right? Okay, cool. I think these are good to go. Man. Rebase and match. There we go. Easy parts, he said. Okay, great. So any other we can merge now? Review approved. Yeah. I would say next we can merge these three here. No, we can't merge this one yet. But we can merge this. We can't merge that. This one can be merged. Okay. Decouple. Okay, great. Then I think I will take a break here. I wish you a great day or night. Until next time, goodbye.